here are our partners. I'm just going to zip through things. This has been done, by the way, in 26 countries, more than 100 times. It's been done all over the world and had impact at the national level, even at the European Union level, big countries, small countries, and it's been done in local communities. The 4 projects in Africa are in local communities. I'm just back from Mongolia, where it's now required by law for constitutional amendments, believe it or not. So, we think about, first question to ask, assuming that we've done all this work in preparation, is do we have a good sample? You want to say, do these people represent the community? So are they a good sample? Are they representative in their demographics and in their attitudes? So in these African projects, we've used random selection of households, random selection within the household, and we've had amazingly high participation rates. Not only for people taking the initial survey, but for people actually coming and doing the 2 days of deliberation. And then the second thing we want is not only a good sample, but we want evidence that the people are thinking about the issues. We usually get a lot of opinion change, but in addition, we can see, we tape record the small groups, we have qualitative data from the small group discussions. We see the reasons why people come out the way they do, and we have a lot of explanatory variables, so we can do regressions to explain these are the levers of opinion change. So, in Bududa and Budaleja, you see 200, these were parts of Mount Elgon in the region in Uganda. I just summarized it. 210 initial interviews, only 11 refusals, 201 completed the 2-day deliberation. Similarly high for Budaleja. Budaleja's in the lowlands with the floods, Bududa's in the highlands with the rock slides. I can't summarize all these things except you see rezoning high-risk areas for no settlement went from minority to majority support. And then you have to go to the reasons why. One thing we can do with this is not only look at the opinion changes, but what are the proposals that rate highest after deliberation? Because after deliberation, we rate them all on the same 0 to 10 scale, and so even the ones that ranked high beforehand and then afterwards, how high do they rank compared to everything else? And so we get the top priorities, the priorities of the people when they really thought about it. So in Budaleja, communities should encourage girls to go to school as well as boys, establishing health center twos in the small villages. These were the two highest priorities. Now, very interesting thing. So we presented these results to the district governors of Bududa and Budaleja. We went out to Mbali. And the district governors were very proud that after the little health care centers in the villages had been washed away, they were replacing them with much bigger and better health centers. But those bigger and better health centers were much farther away, but they had lots more technology. And the schools, they were building bigger and better schools, but they were farther away. So they thought this was great. They had better schools, they had better healthcare centers. But what we found out in the deliberative poll is that if the schools, with not schools right nearby, they would not send the girls to school at all because they were afraid they'd be molested. And so they wanted small one-room schools right in the villages was one of the proposals. That ranked very high. They wanted restoring the health center twos, the little health care centers nearby, because the women were also saying that they wouldn't engage in family planning unless they had health care nearby. And instead of they had to walk for 2 hours, it wasn't practical. So that was the kind of feedback from the public that was immensely useful to, even though the position of the governors was very reasonable. We have better schools, we have better healthcare centers, but they hadn't thought about the impact on the women.